I'm live, so I'm going to believe that I am. And I've been having a little bit of trouble today. I am so sorry for that. We are going to get started. I thank you if you've been hanging around and waiting for the stream to go live. I really, really appreciate that. I appreciate that you are hanging in here with me so that we can have conversation. And I've got myself showing up in here twice. That's craziness. I'm going to kick myself out. So today we are talking about the power of changing your mind. And my thought process is if you can change your thoughts, you can change your life. And if you've been around for any length of time, you know that's true. You know how I feel about all of that. And what I want to do today is give you some great helps to help you move forward in that process so that you can also live the life that you want, right? Live the life that you want. Sorry if I'm wiggling around all over the place. I'm going to just put my screen right up here, and whoever shows up and however that shows up today, we'll just say, thank you, Lord, for helping me to be able to do what needs to be done for this live broadcast. Today is September the 6th, and in the United States, it's Labor Day. And traditionally, it's interesting, Labor Day is a day when we take off. And so you may be sitting at home today just enjoying a little bit of time off and putting your feet up, maybe going to have a barbecue, the traditional thing in the United States. So if you're not from the US, then that's something we'll be doing today. People will be grilling out, enjoying this last big push of the summer. Here in Texas, it's still in the 90s, the upper 90s. It's still hot, but I've watched some live feeds from friends that live up in the northeast and northern part of mid-America, and the leaves are turning beautiful golds and oranges. It's just beautiful, beautiful time here. So as we begin to have this conversation, what I want to do is ask you a few questions about your own mindset. I'm going to switch over my other profile and see if it's showing up on my public page because I may be there. Why, yes, I am. I'm live right there. Hello, everybody. I thought I was going to be on my business page. So hello. So I hope that you're joining me in. I hope that you will communicate with me. Today, we're going to talk about the power of choosing something in this month of self-improvement to really move forward in life and to choose something different and a different way of living. And I did this a couple of years ago, and it really created some intentional actions and movement for me that was transformational. And what that is to choose one of these 6 areas to decide you're going to focus on just this week only. Now, it's National Self-Improvement Month. We can work on all kinds of things, can't we? All kinds of things. So first of all, you can choose to work on mental self-improvement, and those can be either your thought patterns about how you're thinking about life and how your outlook on life, or it can be learning something new, creating an opportunity for yourself to go back to school. After all, isn't September back to school month? You can find a new course or a new source of education where you can continue to expand your mental capacities. And this is what's important about that. As I'm becoming a little bit older, then one of the things that's important to know is that you can continue to grow and improve your mind by continuing to learn. My mother, she died just past the age of 89, so I gave her credit for being 90 because she always wanted to live to at least 90. My mother was an avid reader and an avid learner. And it kept her mind sharp. It kept her wits sharp. And if you know of older people who all that they do is just sit in front of the TV or just read nonsense kind of things, then they are not going to be as sharp. You will not be as sharp no matter what your age. It's important to do things to keep your muscle brain working and exercising, which brings me to the next part, which is self-improvement. And I will raise my hand here and say, yes, 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 I need physical self-improvement. I know that exercise is powerful, important. And my daughter in spirit, my daughter in love, Jamie Woolham, is a Camp Gladiator coach. And she is dedicated to helping people become more physically strong, mental strength, physical strength. And so she works with them all the time. She's concerned about her diet. My elder son is also, both of my sons are concerned about their physical health and physical well-being. They watch what they eat, they watch what they do. And it is an important way to think about your life, is that your physical body is what's going to be carrying you through. It's important for you then to be able to make a decision about your life and about how you're going to carry your body through. Now, it's one of the things to understand that maybe you're limited in your physical abilities right now. Maybe you have some sort of, I don't know, I don't even know what the correct word is, but maybe you have some sort of physical disability that keeps you from doing all of things, but it doesn't mean you can't do some things. So think about, is this week going to be your week of focusing on self-improvement in the area of physical improvement? Or it could be relational. You know, one of the things that I wanted to do was to be able to create an intentional relationship with the people closest to me. And that doesn't happen by accident. If you want to be a friend, if you want to have friends, you have to be a friend, right? Well, the same is true with your family. And if you want a better relationship with people in your family, it is dependent on you to make that happen. My elder son has a way of thinking about this and a way of praying about this is, Lord, help me be the kind of man my whoever needs, my wife, my children, my mom, my friends. Help me be the kind of person they need. So instead of us always looking for why people aren't meeting our needs, then mentally, relationally self-improvement, the key is to then say, how can I be a better XYZ? How can I be a more intentional mom? How can I be a more intentional aunt, grandmother, cousin, friend, wife, relational? And when you begin to do that and begin to really think about, what does it matter to the other? How does it matter to the other person? What matters to the other person? What are they curious about? What are they interested in? And are you willing then to expend extra time in your mental self-improvement to learn about those things? Listen, I am not a gamer. My sister's a gamer. Other people I know are gamers. It's just not something that I ever got into. And I'll be honest, when my kids were growing up, when my boys were growing up, I didn't want them to talk to me about their games. I was bored. Any other moms and dads or aunts, uncles, grandmothers, cousins, you're like that. It's like, how can you talk to me for 30 minutes about a game? But it's the same thing of anything that we're interested in. We can talk 30 minutes about that. It's important to us, and we want the people to be interested in it. So if I want to have an intentional relationship with my children or grandchildren around those areas, you know what I have to do? I have to intentionally learn something about that, or at least intentionally ask them questions and let them educate me. Okay? The next thing I want to talk to you about self-improvement, things that you can do, is your financial self-improvement. Can you focus on financial self-improvement? And this goes to some of my thought processes around what we believe around our finances. We have trained ourselves to believe, what we have chosen to believe, and what I call the NATs, the generational negative and toxic sayings that can influence our life. But financial self-improvement can be just a matter of being honest with yourself about where you are financially. If you're struggling, and look at the reasons why that is, and then begin to intentionally create a plan to help yourself move out of what struggles or challenges you might be finding yourself in. And that is a way then for you to have some intentional improvement. Maybe you'll be like my sister and her husband wanted to learn about being real estate owners and using real estate as an opportunity. So maybe self improvement is for you to learn more about the realms where you can begin to increase your financial strength and opportunities. This week, choose to learn more about financial matters. Emotional self improvement. And one that, because I grew up in a family that had some struggles around depression, it was something that I grew up around all the time. And I just thought that was the natural way to be. Now, I'm not discounting true mental health challenges. I know they're there. But for some of us, and I'll raise my hand here, some of it's just a stinking attitude. You know, I used to hang out with a friend named Joe, and we would talk about stinking thinking. And we had a little skunk that we played with when somebody had something to say that wasn't a great attitude, stinking thinking. And our emotions are geared toward how we are going to look at our life every day. And I know that there are hard things going on in life. I understand that. There's some really hard things going on around us. We look at our national and international situation. We look at the health situations of people around the world. There are a lot of things to be concerned about. There are a lot of things that can cause us to look down on the way life is, but we have a choice, right? We have a choice to change the way we feel about a situation. And I teach this as a coach that there are chemical releases that go on in our brain and our emotions. We think a thought, then that releases a set of chemicals in our body, and then emotional chemicals are set loose in our body, and that's where anxiety can come from, or worry, or joy, or any of those. Hey, what is that Disney show about emotions? I can't remember, but they have all their little emotions sitting up there, and the hormones controlling that. If you know the name of that show, would you pop it in the comments for me? So this is where it can come in, that we find ourselves letting emotions rule us rather than us ruling our emotions. And that can, that's tough. Whenever we are accustomed to having a negative outlook on life, then everything is negative. When we are pessimistic, when we are downcast and downtrodden, whenever we feel like we're victims all the time, our emotions can then really cause us some challenges. So maybe this week you want to focus on emotional self-improvement and how you can capture those feelings first thing when they start acting on you, and help you then be able to say, hey, what am I thinking about? And why am I feeling this way? And back it back so that you can have some control over those thoughts, so you can have some control over those emotions, so you can hopefully have a better day or a better moment. And sometimes, honestly, emotions are moment by moment. You can make a decision right now to think a better thought, so you can have an emotion about the circumstances that are going on around you. And then the final piece that you might want to focus on this week is your spiritual self-improvement. And this is a great time. September is a great time to start a new Bible reading plan, to set aside some time every day where you're reading 15, 20 minutes, where you're devoting time to prayer every day, where you're centering and calming your heart as the start of the day. That's works best for me. I have my routine in the morning. I get up, I make my cup of coffee. First thing, I like a little bit of keto coffee, some fat coffee with a little bit of tea and a little bit of MCT oil, not too much. Makes it nice and creamy. I pop it in my blender. I grab my coffee. I come in here to my office. I sit on my chair, turn on the light, grab my journal, and start writing. And then after I've written a couple of pages, then I do my Bible reading. And then I write my declaration declarations for the day based on the scriptures that I've read. And I also write my gratitudes, the things I'm thankful for, the things that I sometimes the thing you can do is if you're struggling in an area is find a way to be grateful for that, count it all joy kind of thought processes. But then I spend some time praying, discussing with the Lord what he's spoken to me through my Bible reading, some things he's shown me through my journaling, and to really invest in time thinking of people and how I can pray for them, how I pray for you, all of those kind of things. It's a spiritual practice. That is something I can always improve in too. And I have lots of friends on here who at the beginning of the month are so generous in putting out their Bible journaling plans or how they're using creativity to journal that. And in fact, I just put up on Amazon, it's called the Well Managed Mind Journal. And if you will message me that you want to know more about that, I'm glad to share you the direct link. But I put it up on Amazon. It's a 6x9 journal and scriptures in it for every day that you meditate on, that you rewrite it, you draw it out, you declare it, and you pray it. So it can help you in your spiritual journey every day. So as we kind of begin to wind things up, then what I want to leave you with are some scriptures. And it's a trail of scriptures about how to then create a different kind of life for yourself. And the first one is Psalm 39, verse 23, which says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts." And then it goes on to say, "And see if there is any wicked way in me." But the first thing, if you are wanting to intentionally create a new way to think about things and to have some transformation in your life and in your thought processes, is to ask God to show you, where are your thoughts messed up? Where are your emotions messed up? Where can you improve in your physical self-improvement? Where financially? Where spiritually? How can I know myself? Because God knows me. So to ask the Lord to show you, search me, test me. Help me to know myself better, Lord. Help me to know myself the way that you know me so that I can have some transformation, which goes into Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. It says, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Whenever we're guarding our heart against all of the mess that's around our world, it doesn't mean that we're locking that stuff out. It's saying, I see that, respond to it, but I'm not going to let it change me for worse. I'm going to look at that and I'm going to determine how I'm going to pray into that. I'm going to determine how I'm going to work into that to make things better, and to really have an intentional way of saying, I'm going to guard my heart when bitterness or unforgiveness or darkness tries to move into my heart. I'm going to guard my heart against that. And God, I think that you're going to help me, because Proverbs 23:7 says, Proverbs 23:7 says, "As a man thinks in his heart, so is he." Now we can fake it for a while, but eventually who we are shows up in our life. And if you want to have a different kind of life, then it's important for you to have those different thoughts so that God can transform your heart, which goes into Romans 12:2, which I know that you know this. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. See, I really believe that you can reinvent your life simply, step by step, day by day, one step upon one step, day by day, by changing the way you think about life, by changing the way that you respond to the people around you, by changing the way that you think about yourself. And it takes some time sometimes. It really does. And so this encouragement, this motivation Monday, Make It Matter, my challenge to you is to choose a way to have some intentional self-improvement in your life, whether it's mentally, physically, relationally, financially, emotionally, or spiritually. Make a decision this morning. what you're going to focus on, and then intentionally put yourself toward that. Me on Wednesday morning. Wednesday at lunchtime, about 11:30. We're going to have a workshop, and we're going to be talking about and being deeper into the concept of NATs, generational negative and toxic sayings. And we're going to talk about some ways to move through those. You can read the article that I just placed up on my blog at donnawoolham.com, and you can read that. And if you know that you'd like some help, I do always offer a complimentary coaching where you can go to my website as well, donnawoolham.com, Belief Revolution, and you can schedule your complimentary coaching, which leads me to Friday at 9 a.m. only in my private Facebook groups. And these are free groups, they're not paid groups, at either Living at My Best or in the Reinvent Your World communities. We will be having some interactive conversation. I'm going to be able to pull some people into the conversation live, and we're going to have some coaching and conversation around this whole concept of self-improvement and generational negative and toxic saying. So if you're not part of those groups, I hope you'll come and join me over there. And if you are part of those groups, be sure and set your alarm for 9 a.m. on Friday morning, and be able to and set your alarm for 11:30 on Wednesday for the workshop. And we'll talk for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, about how you can take control of those generational negative and toxic sayings as well. So I pray that the God of all hope would fill you with hope as you go through this week, and that you would know that you can live at your best. Have a super day.